It was only yesterday that we revealed another instance of how incredibly petty the war between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis is likely to get when it was revealed that Trump calls DeSantis fat and phony and whiny behind closed doors. Well, it turns out Ron DeSantis has quite a few choice words for Donald Trump, again in private, but as awesome, as funny as what he has to say about Trump is, wait until you get a load about what he has to say about his strategy going into 2024. That is truly hilarious. But first, he calls him a TV personality and a moron who has no business running for president. That's according to a former staffer of Ron DeSantis. He also tells donors, which that might even hurt Donald Trump more, that if he takes on Trump, he would launch a full frontal attack on his record and competence, according to a GOP source briefed on the conversations. Quote, DeSantis says the only way to beat Trump is to attack him head on. Now let's pause there for a second. I 100% agree with Ron DeSantis. I imagine, Cenk, that you will as well. We agree there. Where we will probably disagree is whether there's any chance of that actually happening or working in practice. He says he would turn to Trump during a debate and say, why didn't you fire Fauci? You said you would build the wall, but there is no wall. Why is that? So look, it is a lot easier, I'm sure you will agree, to fantasize about scenarios where you attack Trump on the debate stage and you just beat him into submission and he has nothing to say. Many on the Republican side have tried that in the past. Do you buy any of these attacks? Is he gonna turn to him and say, you didn't build the wall, when every MAGA person believes that the wall has already been built?
Look, today for the first time, I got excited at the possibility.
Of this fight?
This fight, yeah. Because before I thought, nah, DeSantis, he's weak. Like, all he does is photo ops, right? And did he ride Trump's coattails? He definitely did. We'll talk more about that in a sec. And he's kind of a standard politician. Yeah, he's a goon, right? But I think that he's, like a lot of people say, I think DeSantis is more dangerous than Trump. No, that's not remotely true. Trump already tried to end democracy. He already had a coup with fake electors, considered martial law, etc. It doesn't get any worse than that. I think DeSantis is probably a very standard corrupt corporate Republican pretending to be a populist Trump-like Republican. And so I think if Trump went boo, like DeSantis would go, stick to the law, right? So that's my guess, because that's what has happened to every other Republican politician, because they're all weak. Remember, Republicans are weak by nature. They look for an alpha to lead them because they're deeply insecure and filled with fear. And so that's probably DeSantis too. But is he right in the stuff that he's saying behind the scenes? Of course, reality show clown. By the way, does every Republican politician think that of Donald Trump? 96% of them do. So like the Republican voters love Trump, the politicians, they all think he's a total buffoon. They make fun of him behind his back, but then when he shows up in the room, they're like, because that's who politicians are. They're especially Republicans, total utter cowards, right? But now DeSantis is leading in a couple of polls. So now that greed kicks in, like, what if I could? What if I could win? What if I could be? Trump's hurt. He's hurt. But the reason I'm really looking forward to, I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know if DeSantis has got enough cojones to go after Trump, right? So I'm not having any predictions on that. But if they do go all out, that's Republican on Republican crime, the best kind. Because they'll hit each other way harder than a Democrat would ever hit
definitely.
them. Like Democrats are like, I think Trump is kind of naughty. Oh my God, am I in trouble? Right? Whereas Trump and DeSantis will show up with with a power saw. Yeah. And they'll slice off a couple of legs before, metaphorically, right?
Maybe, we'll see.
Before like 6 months before we get to Iowa. One of them will already be in a pool of political blood.
Trump is gonna launch in like the next 80 days, maybe. I love that possible future where they go back and forth and they just destroy each other. Like the idea of us spending like a solid year doing debate night coverage and getting to just eat popcorn and watch that is just delightful in terms of my job. But I just don't see it happening. Like him saying, I need to go at him, I need to say this thing about Fauci, is like if I were, name a boxer, who's a good boxer or whatever.
Muhammad Ali.
I meant a current one, I know. Okay, so the way that you take out Muhammad Ali is that when he comes in, I need to duck this way and then hit him in the eye. Okay, you can say whatever you want. That is not the same thing as actually doing it. Those lines are absent the specifics, the context, they're fine against Trump. But when he says it, how is that going to end Trump? Some of them tried. If I vaguely remember Marco Rubio briefly trying on the debate stage, Chris Christie tried for one debate. He took a few swings, but it doesn't, like Trump doesn't care. He's not interested in it. I don't see why the base would accept it. I feel like the knee-jerk reaction is every single time for the last few years that someone has attacked Trump, we rally to his support. If Ron DeSantis starts to attack him, why wouldn't they do that? Tucker Carlson's massive on the right. Even he won't attack Trump by name. He always does these vague allusions, like off on the side. They're all terrified. I feel like there was a tweet, and it was Ron DeSantis is spending literally years courting donors and doing these stunts. And one day on the debate stage, Trump is gonna call him Miss Florida, and that's gonna be it. And I really think that's all it's gonna take. He's gonna come up with a nickname for Ron DeSantis. Every single Trump fan is gonna chuckle about it. And bye-bye, you can head back to Miami or wherever you live. I hope that that's not the case. I want the scenario you've sketched out, but I just don't see Ron DeSantis having it. He's not an actual tough guy. He's not even a fake blustery tough guy like Trump. He's nothing, he's Ted Cruz basically.
Yeah, so we don't know that for a fact, but now you've done it, John. I hope you're happy.
Did I ruin it?
No, yeah, well, that's true too, you did. So, but now I'm gonna have to make a prediction, okay? If they both announce and they're both in the race, I don't know if they're both gonna do it, but if they are, Trump ends them in under a month. It doesn't matter when they're both in. It could be February of 2023, it's like 10 months before the voting, right? Over under is 1 month for DeSantis and Trump ends him. And here's why. And I realized it as you were talking. First of all, look at DeSantis's attacks. Oh, he's a reality show clown. The Democrats tried that. That's not that tough an attack at all, right? That's not gonna, there's no way that's gonna work. In fact, it's gonna make right-wingers very angry. Like, if you use any Democratic line of attack against him, that is not gonna play well. But like 90% of the stuff is Democratic line of attack, right?
Because they tried a lot of things.
Right, because those things are true. He is a reality show clown, he is a criminal, he is all those things. But if you sound like Adam Schiff, bye-bye, okay? And whereas Trump can sound like anything. The main thing is, Trump is real because he has no brakes in the car. He actually he has a mental problem. He can't control himself. But in politics, that winds up being ironically helpful. He has verbal diarrhea. He'd be like, oh, DeSantis, okay, he's a weak, he's transgender, he's a bicyclist, okay, whatever. Like, you just throw things in, and then he listens, right? This is his one gift, right? He listens and he's like, bicyclist, what, who, right? He's weak, he's transgender. Yeah, that's it. He's trans. That's right. And he's trying to make your kids trans. But he did the don't say gay. But I don't care. He's trans.
Whereas DeSantis is going to be trying to remember the line his team came up with.
Exactly. And he's going to go with preset, like pre-scripted consultant attacks against Trump. And Trump's just going to wave those off, right? Yeah. And last thing is, I just saw a David Schuster video. He went to a Trump rally. You guys gotta check out these unbelievable videos on Rebel headquarters that David Schuster has, okay? So this drunk Trump fan is hitting on him, okay? It's two ladies, awesome. Okay? And they're drunk and they're like, I love you, are you married? They ask him, okay? Yeah, it's hilarious. Go to Rebel headquarters. We'll try to put a link down below if you're watching later on YouTube or Facebook, okay? Anyways, when they asked why did you like DeSantis, it was something along these lines, you'll see it in the video. They said, oh, because Trump recommended him.
Oh, that's not good enough.
Yeah, bye-bye. So Trump will win that fight, and then he'll be even more empowered, and then that's even worse.
Yeah, I know we're gonna talk a lot more about this over the next few months. Like, I know some people think maybe the Fauci, maybe the vaccine thing is a line of attack. Maybe, but I feel like that's a super narrow path. I don't know that DeSantis is gonna be able to pull it off. He better hope that Trump's in jail or something, I don't know.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.